everything that there is to know about being in the kitchen. One of my favorite pastimes by far, being in the kitchen with you.
Thank you.
Love it, love it.
Mine too, and I do too.
Today, do we have a treat for you?
This is one of my favorite, and definitely one of Kelly's dad's favorite, because he originally taught me how to make it. And
did he really?
Yeah.
Fun fact, did not know this.
Yeah.
I had no, so this is Pop's recipe.
Yeah.
Who'd have thunk? My dad is a good cook though.
Yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. But you know, I kind of added my...
Oh, you tweaked it.
I tweaked it, and and he likes it, and it's one of my favorite things to make for a family gathering, because it's easy to put together, and then it just cooks itself almost, you know?
Really, it does.
And we're gonna do it in the Instapot.
I love cooking in that thing. It cuts the cook time down to a minimal amount, and the food comes out just as tender as it would as if you cooked it in a crock pot all day.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And I gotta tell you, the first time Kathleen brought me this Chile Verde, I was pregnant with Allison, and you came over, I think it was like a week or so before I had Allie, and we cooked all of those meals for when I had Allie. And so she really wanted to make sure that I had a bunch of frozen meals that Jeff could just stick in the oven, and because she didn't want us eating fast food, of course, you know, she had to have like good meals ready for us. And this was the first time I had tried your Chile Verde, and I remember sitting here taking notes and writing it verbatim, and I still have those notes on how to make. Yes.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
That's really nice. Thank you.
And then it became our family favorite. Of course, Jeff is obsessed with it. Jeff makes it at the fire station now.
Yeah, yeah.
It's one he takes to the fire station, and Ray and Kayla absolutely love it. So when I make it, I have to make an enormous pot of it because they want it for 2 or 3 days after. And it's one of those dishes that even when you make it 2 or 3 days after, it gets better.
Oh yeah, it gets way better.
Yeah, and there are so many ways and things that you can eat with it.
Oh,
that
rice, jasmine rice.
Jasmine rice, or even a pasta, I tell you, is amazing. We put it on a pasta, and my favorite, the jasmine rice with just the sauce.
Yeah, no, it's really good.
Oh my goodness. If you guys aren't already hungry and this doesn't sound amazing to you, wait till you see how amazing this looks while she cooks it, because your stomachs are gonna be growling.
And if you guys like it, let us know. And there's another one. I don't know if you've tried it or not. It's the nopales.
Oh yes, you made that for me when I had Allie too. Did
I?
Yes, you were just worried about the spice though, because I was nursing her.
Yeah.
Yep.
And nopales, it's pork done in a red sauce with cactus. And not big pieces. You buy it
little.
Yeah. No.
Like just little chunks.
And it's by far one of my favorites.
Oh my god, I love dipping a tortilla right off the stovetop into the nopales sauce.
I know.
Oh my good gosh. It is amazing. I'm hungry.
I know.
We gotta do this. We gotta get into this because we gotta show you just how great my Pop's recipe with Kathleen's twist on Chile Verde is.
We're gonna be using pork, shoulder, country ribs, or strips. And there's no bones in these. If you wanna use another cut of pork, that's fine. A whole pork butt you could cut up. Or a pork shoulder, same thing. I wouldn't use a really good piece of pork, like a pork loin. You want a little fat on your meat, because that's going to add to the flavor. We're also going to be using brown onions. If you want to use a sweet Vidalia onion, that would be terrific. But if you don't have any on hand, a brown onion is absolutely fine. We're going to start using 4 onions. We'll cut them up, fairly large chunks, and we'll see how that fits with our 2 pounds of pork that we have. We're going to use probably start off with half a cup of flour. To that half a cup of flour, we'll add a good heaping tablespoon of coriander. We'll also add a good heaping tablespoon and a half of cumin. Kelly and I really like cumin, so we're probably going to be a little heavier on it. And we're going to start off with a half a tablespoon of smoked paprika. I like the smoke because it adds a richer, deeper flavor to the chile verde. We're going to use 2 jars. They're 26 ounces each of the La Victoria salsa verde. And if you can get it, the thick and chunky I think is terrific because it gives you little pieces of tomatillo, and I really, really like that. We're going to use 24 ounces of Coors Light. Now, if you don't want to use a beer in your chile verde, please don't worry about it. Your chile verde will be delicious without it. You could use a vegetable broth, chicken broth, even just plain water would be absolutely fantastic. And if you don't have any Coors Light and you want to use a Mexican beer, that would even be better. I always like to use a plastic mat when I cut pork or beef, any meat, because it's easier, I think, to put it into the dishwasher when you're all done. And I like that, rather than to have to stand there and scrub and hope that you get, you know, all the residue from the meat. This is an example of a mat that I use. It's nice on the back side. It has a little texture, so it kind of grips the counter or your cutting board. The ones I have, I got on Amazon, and I think it came in a set of like 4 or 5. One for chicken, one for beef, one for vegetables, one for fish, maybe 4. And they're not expensive, and I think they're so worth it. We're gonna cut our pork up. I like to leave it in, maybe an 1.5 by 1.5 kind of chunk. The smaller you make your pieces of pork, the faster it'll cook. So since we're making it in the Instant Pot, I'm gonna leave it a little bit bigger because you don't wanna have it dissolve on you, get so tender that it just falls apart. And I'm gonna cut some, but not all of the fat off. After we have the pork cut, we're going to toss it with a little flour and some spices. We're gonna start with a half a cup of flour. We're gonna add a tablespoon of coriander. We're gonna use a good tablespoon and a half of the cumin. This is our half a tablespoon of smoked paprika. I always like to take meat that we're gonna put it in a little flour and brown. I always like to get the excess moisture off of it. And I just usually put it between 2 paper towels and you're good to go. And it just gets that moisture off. And then we're gonna dump it into our flour mixture. We're gonna do half the meat at a time. I'm gonna cut our onions up to go into the chile verde. It's funny, but I love onions, and it's never ever bothered me to cut them or grate them, or I don't know. So it's not a problem for me, but I know a lot of people it's hard on. You're gonna wanna make large chunks. It doesn't need to be real fine. We're going to hit our saute button on our Instapot. You just hit the saute button and it brings it up to a temperature all by itself to saute. There's no way to alter the temperature up or down. It's like a safe temp that you can saute at. We're gonna put a little oil in the bottom to help brown the meat. So maybe let's start with 3 tablespoons, just to coat the bottom. Then I'm gonna take our meat, give it a little shake, and into the pot. And you can hear it sizzle. Whenever you're sauteing or browning meat, you don't want to overcrowd your pan, because if you overcrowd your pan, it's not going to brown. It's going to steam because there's no air flow around the meat. Our meat has sauteed for a few minutes, so I'm just going to flip it to the other side. Now that I've flipped the meat, we're going to let that go for probably 3 or 4 minutes, and then we'll pull it out and we'll do another batch. We'll probably, for 2 pounds of meat, maybe do, I would think, 3 batches. Because once again, you don't want to crowd that pan. You're not going to get all those good little brown bits on your meat. Okay, our meat is done, and we're going to take it out so we can get our next batch in. And I have to say, this Instapot is doing a bang-up job of sauteing this meat. I am very, very impressed.
Now, Kathleen, is this pork totally cooked through?
No, it's not totally cooked through. It's just browned. So that's what will happen in the Instapot when we add all our liquid, is it'll finish cooking all the way through. We just finished browning all our meat. And then what I like to do with the flour that I have left over and the little bit of oil that's left in the Instapot, I then take my onions and this is going to help thicken our chile verde. Now we don't really need to brown the onions a lot. I just like to do it enough that it will cook the flour so it won't have a raw taste to it. Now our onions in our flour mixture have not browned, but they've been in the saute pot for like 5 minutes. So we can add our meat back in. We're going to add our first 26-ounce jar of the salsa verde. And we're going to, I think, need at least another half a jar, if not the whole jar. So we'll add half and see where it gets us. I was just told by Kelly that we're adding the whole second jar because she wants the sauce. Now I'm just taking a spoon and I'm just gonna give it a stir. Now I'm gonna take the beer left in the can and take it up to the max line in the Instapot. Well, that came out stinking perfect. 2 full jars and the full can of beer. We're set. We're gonna go to the meat stew button and hit that. And it's got 47 minutes on the clock. And we'll be back in 47 minutes to take a peek. Well, our chili verde is done. It's been in the Instapot, and the Instapot has done its magic. So I'm gonna open it up, take a peek, and then Kelly and I are gonna taste it. The way I like to serve it, or my favorite way to eat it, is with a dollop of sour cream, some cilantro, fresh cilantro on top, and if you want, you can even sprinkle a little shredded cheese over it, or some of the good Mexican cheese. All right, it's time. Come on, Kelly. Let's taste.
Chili Verde's done.
Absolutely.
And let me tell you, the smell of this is agonizing when it's cooking because it just makes your mouth water.
Yeah.
It looks amazing and I can't wait to try this. I already know what it tastes like. It's just my favorite meal, but it's been a couple months since I had it, so of course I'm always excited to eat it. Her version tastes different than my version. I can never quite get my chili verde to taste as good as yours. I like the taste of mine and so do the kids, but mine always tastes just a bit different.
Not funny.
And I don't know why.
I think it's just having somebody else make it.
Maybe.
You know, like pancakes.
They never come out the same
Yeah.
when somebody else makes them. You're like, hey, how come my pancakes never look that good?
Yeah.
But this looks amazing. I can't wait to try it, so let's dig in.
Okay.
Get a little bit of everything in there. Oh my word.
That is good. And the meat is tender.
Not dissolving.
No, it's perfect. I'm happy.
Are you happy? Oh man, and the onions in it are just perfect. They're not soggy and wilted. They've still got a firmness to them,
But they have a creamy consistency. I don't know. It works.
hands down, top 10 favorite dinner meals
Yeah.
that she makes that I now make, and like I said in the beginning, that Jeff makes at the fire station.
Yeah.
And so it's one of those meals that you just say, okay, I'm making this and I'm making a lot of it because I want leftovers for the next 3 or 4 days. Well, everybody, that's all we have for you for today for this episode of In the Kitchen with Kathleen and her delicious chili verde. It is a must-try recipe if you ask me. And so it is well worth the time and the work that it takes to prep it and get it going. Once you get it in the Instapot, it is quick going and you're gonna have a delicious dinner.
And if you don't have an Instapot, then you have a crock pot
Or a Dutch oven.
or a Dutch oven. You could do it slow, 275 for 5 hours in a Dutch oven, or 6 hours in a crock pot. It's all good.
Before I had the Instapot, this is the recipe that actually made me go out and get a Dutch oven.
Yeah.
And so I picked up my Dutch oven at Sam's Club. I believe I paid 49 bucks for it.
I went and got one.
And
I've got too many of them actually.
I've made it in that ever since. And you know, even on days, there are days when I just choose not to do it in the Instapot because I want to smell the aroma of the chili verde throughout the house all day. And I like just cooking in my Dutch oven, you know, just to switch it up a bit.
It's a different taste almost.
It is.
It's a little richer because of the slower cooking.
It is. And the Instapot, although it's good, it's a faster cook. And it's for those days when you just need to get dinner done. And it's a great alternative.
Yeah.
But hands down, I would say that Dutch oven is the way to go when cooking this.
Yeah.
For sure. So don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, and let's get this video to 3,000 likes because those thumbs up, they really do help this series of In the Kitchen with Kathleen to grow, and it helps YouTube to notice us just a bit more. Until next time, everybody, we hope you have a fantastic day. Thank you again for another amazing day in the kitchen.
Thank you, Kelly. Thank you. I love it.
Happy cooking in your kitchen, everybody, and bye for now.
Bye-bye.